What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with a major diplomatic development. Honduras has officially announced the end of diplomatic ties with Taiwan after switching recognition to China. Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed the news on Sunday. Bing Wang reports.
Making it official. The foreign ministers of Honduras and China met in Beijing to formalize diplomatic ties between the countries. This comes more than a week after Honduran President Xiomara Castro declared her intentions to do so on social media. Prior to this, Honduras had diplomatic relations with Taiwan for over 80 years. The governments in Beijing and Taipei each claim to represent all of China, and neither allows for international recognition of the other. The government in Taipei has responded by requesting Honduras to close its embassy in Taiwan. The flagpole that once held Honduras' flag is now gone.
为了维护国家主权和尊严，决定自即日起终止和洪都拉斯共和国的外交关系，全面停止双边合作计划，撤离大使馆、驻散布总领事馆、技术团及电力团等相关人员。
Foreign Minister Joseph Wu also said that before severing ties, Castro's government demanded Taiwan build a hospital, a dam, and to release Honduras from their debt to Taiwan. A move Taipei believes has ulterior motives.
那我想直接给钱的这种方式，这个就是有点像是贿赂。那我想以2次红方跟我们提出来要盖医院，却有2个截然不同的这个价格的这种方式，感觉上他们是要钱，而不是要医院。
In the video address, Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen accused China of bribing Honduras to decrease Taipei's and increase Beijing's influence in the region.
我们不会和中国进行无意义的金钱外交竞逐。过去几年，中国不断利用各种方式打压台湾的国际参与，升高对我们的军事侵扰，冲击区域的和平稳定。
President Tsai reassured the public that Taiwan would continue to build unofficial relations with friendly countries.
台湾人民已经向世界证明，我们从不因威胁而退缩。 台湾和友邦以及理念相近国家的合作与连结，共同促进国际福祉与安全的努力，只会增加，不会减少。
The announcement would leave Taiwan with just 13 diplomatic allies. The majority of those are Honduras' neighbors in Central America and the Caribbean. There is concern that Paraguay, Taiwan's last South American ally, may also break diplomatic relations if the opposition party wins the presidency next month. While the loss of another country may hurt Taipei, there's been an increasing number of European and American delegations over the past few years. And as Taiwan works to increase trade relations with these countries, regardless of bilateral ties, it is hoped this will ease the sting. Patrick Chen and Bing Wang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
The Speaker of the Czech Parliament's lower house reaffirmed their country's friendship with Taiwan during a 5-day visit. Here's what she said in Yushan County on Sunday.
捷克和台湾的关系历史已经超过30年，所以我们很珍惜我们的历史。所以在和其他国家断交背景下，我觉得我们更要珍惜我们之间的友谊。
Speaker Marketa Pekarova-Adamova is leading a delegation of over 150 people to Taiwan. This includes government officials, business leaders, and academics. It's the largest representative group the Czech Republic has ever sent to Taiwan and is the country's largest delegation to travel overseas in the past 5 years. The Czech Republic does not have official diplomatic relations with Taiwan, but Adamova said both countries have a shared belief in maintaining freedom and democracy. The visiting group is scheduled to meet with President Tsai Ing-wen on Monday afternoon. In international news, Russia is set to deploy tactical nuclear weapons in neighboring Belarus. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the move on Saturday. It comes amid growing tensions with the West over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Putin says the move will not violate any of Russia's non-proliferation obligations. Russia has not announced a timetable, though a storage facility for the weapons will be ready by July 1st. Belarus housed part of the Soviet nuclear arsenal when it was part of the USSR. But after the Soviet Union's collapse, those weapons were withdrawn to Russia in the mid-90s. Meanwhile, North Korea launched 2 short-range ballistic missiles on Monday. South Korea's military says the missiles were fired from North Korea's east coast. Japan's defense ministry says the missiles landed outside the country's exclusive economic zone. Japan says it suspects both missiles flew on what they called an irregular trajectory instead of an arc. This means they could possibly be maneuvered to avoid South Korea's missile defenses. Huge protests have erupted in Israel over the firing of the country's defense minister. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets across the country on Sunday. In Tel Aviv, protesters lit bonfires and blocked roads. In Jerusalem, people scuffled with police outside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home. Netanyahu fired Yoav Gallant for speaking out against his plan to overhaul the judicial system, a plan that has led to months of protests. Under the proposed legislation, the governing coalition would have the final say over all judicial appointments. It would also mean Parliament could overturn Supreme Court decisions. Critics say the legislation would remove Israel's system of checks and balances. Back in Taiwan, police in the southern city of Tainan have arrested the director of a well-known local temple. They say he is linked to the main suspects of 2 gun attacks on political targets ahead of last year's elections. John Van Trieste has the latest.
It's been almost 5 months since gun attacks on sites in Tainan that are linked to Taiwan's ruling party. There were no injuries, but the attacks shocked the city right before November's local elections. Now police say they have the man who helped the main suspects hide. Wang Wenzong is a director of a Tainan temple and an active figure in the local political scene. He's accused of crimes including harboring criminals and possessing illegal firearms. The 2 main suspects fled to China after the attacks. They hid there until China extradited them in February. Police say Wang traveled to China twice to arrange phones and lodging for the 2. They also say he covered the suspects' living expenses. News of Wang's arrest on Saturday surprised some local officials. This neighborhood chief says Wang was friendly with people across the political spectrum. But within the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, the target of last year's attacks, some are skeptical of this view. Party lawmaker Wang Tingyu says Wang has headed the local office of the China Unification Promotion Party and has ties to the main opposition Kuomintang, or KMT.
过去这段时间以来，国民党一直指责民进党是黑金。那现在主嫌出来了，国民党怎么说？
Analysts say links between temples, organized crime, and politics are not unusual in Taiwan.
The reality is many temples throughout Taiwan do have an association with organized crime. It's a good platform for criminals. These temples collect cash donations, so there's access to cash. And it also provides influence in the local community and influence with local politicians.
And an effort by the current DPP government to regulate temples 3 years ago failed to gain traction, especially due to concerns about religious freedom.
There are a lot of DPP legislators who oppose this, and that's because they have to be responsive to these local power centers who are understandably absolutely against greater regulation.
For now, police have arrested 7 in connection with the shootings, and they say they are looking for other potential accomplices. Leon Lien and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A large wildfire in the southeastern county of Taitung has mostly been extinguished. The fire started on Sunday evening in Taitung's Ziben wetland. Officials do not know how it started. Dry conditions because of a lack of rainfall in the area helped the blaze spread. The Ziben wetland is a major habitat for migratory and protected bird species. From fire to snow, Taiwan's tallest mountain has seen its first snow of the season. Snow began falling on the mountain's highest peak shortly after 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's after going a full winter season without any. It's the latest that snow has come to Yushan since records began 80 years ago. The average temperature on the mountain during this past winter was the 3rd highest in recorded history. Forecasters say it's unlikely the snow will continue as rainfall is low and moisture in the air is decreasing. Thanks for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of wisteria flowers blooming in northern Taiwan's Danshui. I'm Eric Gao. Take care and see you next time.